So getting up and moving, I'm in the S mode and in the manual mode as well. Also, Bentayga with the ski box. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be going over a 2022 ILX Premium. First and foremost, though, a huge shout out and thank you to Jody Wilkinson Acura here in downtown Salt Lake for giving me some time with this ILX. Check out the inventory in the description down below. Let's get right into the video. So under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 2.4 liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed dual clutch automatic. Fuel economy is 24 around town and then 34 on the highway, with power outputs being 201 horsepower and then 180 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of the ILX. First off, we're gonna start with the headlights because they're timed and they're gonna pop off. You guys can see the LED accent light there with the little projector bulbs for the headlights themselves. Looks fantastic. And then you guys can see the body lines here on the hood really pop out, especially in this red paint. Got the Acura logo there in the center. Notice how it's all blacked out all around. And then you can see the chrome accenting here off to the side and then the darker elements all around that. And overall, from a front end perspective, it looks fantastic. Coming around the side here, we've got two 15mm tires wrapped around 17-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see here with the design on the wheels themselves, you've got the silver there on the top with the dark metallic gray below it. Definitely creates great contrast. Now, moving on from that, you guys can see we've got chrome trim here all around the windows. Notice the mirrors are body painted, so are the door handles. And, well, there's your full side view. So here's our key fob. We got the Acura logo there on the back. Notice we've got our lock, unlock, and then the opening here for the trunk. So just hold that and it'll pop open the trunk. Now you can see here from a storage space perspective, this isn't a massive sedan, but it's actually pretty solid. Notice it says ILX right there, and then you can pick this up and you can also pick up the little panel below it. You guys can see the Fix-A-Flat kit underneath all of that. And yeah, that is the trunk area. So when you're done, just throw it down. Now let's finish things up here with the rear. So you guys can see the taillights are super distinctive. You've got the Acura logo here in the center with the camera hiding out below it. And then notice this is actually what you press to open up the trunk, which is pretty cool. And then the exhaust tip here popping out the side, you can see with the diffuser in the rear. And yeah, that is everything for the back. Now here's the door panel in the rear. You guys can see all of the padding here with the stitching that goes throughout. It's white to contrast. And then here are the rear seats. Same thing. And I love how they have the inserts here in the center. Definitely creates some nice contrast. And it's kind of like Acura's signature with their seats. Now, popping in to the interior, you can see the legroom. And then the headroom as well. And then, of course, we got our armrest cup holder situation. Can't live without one of these bad boys. Let's head to the front. Now here's the door panel at the front. You guys can see the padding with the stitching all throughout, and then all of our window controls. Notice we've got the automatic for the front, and then you guys can see the mirror adjustments, memory seats, and then here are the mirrors themselves, blind spot monitoring. And then here are the front seats, so you guys can see the stitching and then the piping there on the back, and then again with the insert there in the center. Definitely a nice appearance. Got all of your adjustments there on the side of the seat. Pedal layout down below. Then you guys can see the gas cap release, and then for the trunk as well, lane departure, and then your collision assistance. And then notice here with the stability control, and let's pop in. Now here is the steering wheel. You guys can see we've got leather around the steering wheel and then the darker stitching on the center portion. We do have adaptive cruise control, steering assistance. We've got controls for like the volume controls, phone controls, all that fun stuff. Paddle shifters here on the back of the steering wheel. Turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock, and there you go. Here's the center gauge cluster. You can see you've got mostly analog gauges on either side. And then we do have that screen there in the center, which you can see that we can scroll through different bits of information to see like our fuel range, for example, and average fuel economy, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's everything for the center. So we have our double stack screen here in the ILX. First off, we pop it into reverse. You can see the backup camera with trajectory lines. They do turn with the steering wheel. And if we go from that, notice that it pops open. I press the info button here, and you can see it pops with that screen. So yeah, there's different functions in different screens, so definitely a little bit of a learning curve. But this is a touchscreen down here at the bottom, and mainly looks like it controls radio, and then also you got the climate there at the very bottom. And then you've got some shortcut buttons here, analog controls here down below it. And yeah, that's kind of like the double stack screen situation. We've got our analog controls here for the climate system. We do have a dual zone climate system. We've got heated seats here for the front. And then you guys can see here with the transmission selection, we do have an S mode. We've got our brake here off to the side. A couple cup holders. And then notice you got the button you have to press to open up the center console. Definitely interesting. Things here with the glove box. And then notice here with the material use and then the trim just up above. And then finally, here at the top, we do have a sunroof. Definitely a nice feature. Kind of like a light gray here for the rest of the headliner. Controls the center for right there, and there you go. So here's the window sticker for the ILX. Looks like someone's dog got a hold of this. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, feel free to freeze the frame if you want to read all of the standard equipment on the ILX. And then you can see here with the base MSRP, and then basically the only option is the color, and then destination handling. $30,045, which for a luxury sports brand is very affordable. The average price of a brand new car right now is $45,000, so this is $15,000 less expensive than the average new car. Sounds like a deal to me. Let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. There's visibility over the hood. Both mirrors with shield, blind spot monitoring. Then throughout the rest of the rear, and let's set off. We are setting off here in the ILX, which is an interesting car because it's got VTEC power, right? It's got a VTEC engine and dual clutch, which should be a pretty fun combination. First off, from a ride quality perspective, this road is perfect for testing cars because it's got some little potholes and everything. Car stays compliant, so it does a good job from that perspective. Yeah, it doesn't get upset or anything. So, you know, with the luxury car stuff, it does good. It's got heated seats, which are definitely welcome. It's starting to snow, right? It's pretty cold. And yeah, just doing a really good job with that. Car's easy to drive. Now, Acura's newer steering wheels definitely feel better than what we have here in the ILX. Like, if you pop into TLX, for example, you've got really nice grips and everything. This steering wheel's still solid, but it's like getting in this really shows me like how much Acura has changed. And so it'll be exciting to see if they redo the ILX and, you know, potentially get rid of it, right? Because we have the new Integra coming out in the near future. So we'll see what exactly happens in terms of branding and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so far so good. Oh, also seat comfort. Bolstering. Yeah, definitely nice. It's like a nice kind of like light hug with the bolsters, and then the bottom portion of the seat is very soft, and so it's great from a seat perspective. Getting up and moving, I'm in the S mode and in the manual mode as well. Also, Bentayga with the ski box. You go. This is interesting. So again, this is a dual clutch. I just drove an MDX Type S before this, and I think that transmission's more responsive than this 8-speed dual clutch. So when you're like full throttle, this definitely, you feel the benefits of the dual clutch, but for like most of the shifting, I mean, this is good. But yeah, I think that new 10-speed takes it. That is interesting. So yeah, I guess we'll kind of start to get into signing things up here with the ILX. And sorry if I call it TLX anytime in the review. For some reason, my brain just like doesn't... I understand there's only one letter difference, but usually I'm pretty good about that stuff. But today, for some reason, can't seem to figure it out. Exterior-wise, it looks good. It's not my favorite with Acura. I prefer the TLX styling. The new Integra, it'll be interesting to see what that looks like in person. But I still think this is a really good looking car. I mean, you put it next to most cars and I would say it looks better, especially considering the price point. And then from a driving characteristic perspective, it does the luxury car stuff. Now, it doesn't have like a monstrous powertrain like what you can get with the new TLX Type S, right? That's got that 3-liter twin-turbo V6. You know, this is 200 horsepower, but I mean, it makes use of the power very well. Like, it doesn't feel slow to me. Seriously, I thought it would. Like when I read the power figures, I was like, oh, 200 horsepower, this is not going to feel that great. But it actually, it makes very good use of the power. And the only thing that I guess is a downside of this car, I'm trying to think, is just the fact that there's like newer Acuras, and so like I can see the differences. Like this is a really good car, especially considering the price point. This is $30,000, and for everything you get for $30,000, this is a very, very solid deal. But like, if you have the budget, like the new TLX, for example, like just an A-spec, right? Still a really cool car. Like that's so much more appealing to me personally. Again, just me personally. But yeah, that is the ILX. Let me know what you guys think of it. And yeah.